Hey guys, Dr. Matt Fontaine going over some basic core exercises. This is the bread and butter. We're going to go over plank, how we break that down into a progression. We're going to do side plank. We're also going to do some glute bridging and hip lifts. So 3 exercises. We're going to do a progression here, starting with the plank. So let me get into a couple things of how we set this up. Basic plank position, usually done on your forearms. You take a note at my foot position. My feet are tucked up underneath me. From here, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to straighten my legs, squeezing my quads, and I'm going to then squeeze my butt. Then I come up into the plank position. What's important from here is I push the ground away from me. You can see that pushes my shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. I'm not lazy through here. Also look at my head position. I'm not up. My head's looking at the ground, but I'm maintaining spinal alignment. We're going to hold that for beginners for 10 seconds. I want you to repeat that for 6 repetitions. That gives us a whole total of a minute hold time. As you start to progress out and develop more endurance, you can expand that to 15 seconds, 20, 30, and so on. The goal should be to be able to get to a 1 to 2 minute hold time on a plank. Okay? So that's the progression. There are some things we can do to make that a little more challenging. You can do planks in a push-up position. Basically, same kind of deal here. Okay, so if I kind of angle off here, we can start to do some challenging things like touching the shoulder. Okay, from here, we can even start to extend out. If I'm down in the plank position here, you'll notice from this position, we can extend out, back down. So those are some things that make it a little bit more challenging. The key is to keep your hips level. Next, getting into glute bridging, okay? I'm a big fan of using the band. That goes around the knee. This is going to allow us to push out, which activates the outside of the hip. So in the bridge position, you notice my feet are not flat, they're pulled back. This allows me to drive off my hip, which gives me better driving power. From here, get your shoulder blades underneath you. Arms are going to be right at your side. And we're going to bridge up and down. Making sure not to hyperextend your back. If you have any pressure in your back, stretch your hip flexors first. Come back and revisit the exercise. Next, we're going to come up and bridge. And I'm going to extend the leg out. Back down. Extend out. And then down. That's 1 repetition. Lastly, we can do a banded side plank. I'm going to come up. From here, I can add a clamshell action in here if I want to work on strengthening the hip. If not, I can just work on coming up into this side plank position. You can also do plank with the feet out, staggered, coming straight up, or straight up and down this way. Another variation is to have the legs staggered, and I can come up into a plank this way, arm up. It's traditionally done in yoga. Finally, we can do a single leg hip lift. So, same concept, driving off here. I can grab in on the knee, pulling my knee in. From here, I'm going to drive up and down. Driving up and down. That version is a little bit more difficult. It doesn't allow you to cheat the movement. It's excellent for running. Single leg hip lift. Do about 5 on each side before you go run, or just add these into your core training. But this should make up the basics of anybody's core training program. Forget crunches, forget sit-ups. They load the discs, bad for the back. We need to work on these stability exercises. See you on the next video.